Hello, welcome to the Social Entrepreneurship Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashita Weaver, and today's episode is called Let the Dust Settle. All right, so this is an important one because let me make sure I'm recording. All right, let the dust settle. I noticed I'm in a period of transition right now, but I've been going through a lot of transitions for the last like 5 years since the pandemic. But it's like transition. All right, things are good. Transition, like, but it makes sense because I had a huge, what some people would say like a loss during the pandemic. Like a lot of my life changed. But I have to be honest with you, when I look back at myself in 2020, I was such a different person then. I was a beautiful person, of course, but I was younger, I was much more naive, and the what has occurred over the last 5 years has seasoned me. I had no idea what would have occurred, but if I could go back in time and talk to 2020 me, I would just say, brace yourself, take things slow, and I would say let the dust settle before you do anything next. Because the momentum is a very serious thing. And we all go through these stages in life where we're in seasons of transition. We have to let the past go. We have to let things may not be turning out the way you expect them to be, right? You don't get into the college that you want. You don't get the promotion you want. You're in a relationship and it goes south. But what I can tell you is that after every storm that I have faced, after every transition, the sun comes out after the rain. It always comes out. And I have to tell you, when it comes to letting the dust settle, if I could really go back in time and say to myself, what I would say is, this is difficult, change is hard, calm down, and do nothing. Literally rest, drink some ashwagandha tea. It's a tea that helps relax you and reduces stress. And I would say calm down a little. And I would say don't vent. Number one thing is don't talk about it because it actually magnifies the issue. Because now everybody, because every time you see all these people, you gotta like talk about it again and all that. I would say don't vent, journal. Yeah, journal. Because when you are in a season of transition, a lot of times things are changing and sometimes something is ending, but with every single ending, there's a beginning. And what I couldn't see was the beautiful beginnings that were arising. And sometimes I let the emotions of the past linger a little too long, when in reality, like things were becoming really, really beautiful in my life. And I couldn't see it in that very moment. And so I would say, like, feel the anger, feel the rage. Feel like disappointed and the sadness, because I think a lot of it was disappointment for me, and anger, but feel it, acknowledge it. It's real, and it's like I can be a fighter at times. When I'm like feeling like I'm not being treated well, like I become sister, not sister soldier. I become a warrior. I'm a Jamaican, so I'm Jamaican and Cuban, and so I feel like that rebel, that revolutionary spirit takes over. And if I could say something, is like, yes, defend yourself, yes, protect yourself, but just calm down for a little bit, because the truth is there's a lot of beauty happening, but you can't see it because you're so focused on fighting the past that you can't see God open up heaven, the gates of heaven on you. And then get an outlet like this to talk about it. The next thing I would say, so the first thing I'd say is let the dust settle. Feel the pain, feel the anger, feel the bitterness, feel the rage, feel all the negative emotions, acknowledge them because they are real. And if you don't acknowledge them, they will fester and you will bring it with you wherever you go and it will compound, right? The anger will build momentum. I just watched this show on Netflix called Beef, and it was like, oh my God. It was crazy. Like the lady, it has to do with some road rage incident. Next thing you know, these people are entangled in each other's lives and all this craziness happened all from somebody honking their horn at a department store or something like that. Whew. So And I was just like, was mad a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? I was getting so mad, and I could feel the momentum in the building. And I was just like, I saw that, and I was like, God must have sent me this show because God was like, girl, stop. Stop. Stop, stop. So the next thing I'd say is rest. Rest, 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 rest is so crucial. And what I say mean rest is every year I do rest. I like, the social media, I take social media breaks. I take sometimes I like literally I think the only thing I haven't taken a break from, like, because I like YouTube a lot, but yeah, I take breaks from people. I take breaks from eating certain foods. I do that throughout the year. And so when I see myself, just feeling a bit stressed, a bit anxious, any kind of more negative emotion, I really try to just rest. And like sometimes sleep is like the best thing you could do. And then you realize, oh, sometimes it might be sleep deprivation while you're feeling those emotions. Like, not to be like seriously. It might be sleep deprivation, and then you get your sleep, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, life is beautiful. Uh, all right, reflect. Look for the lesson in the situation. I have to admit, like even with a couple of weeks ago, the lesson in the situation was, something my aunt tried to tell me when I was 12. Like, I'm not 12, she might be between 12 and 16. I don't remember how old I was. But it was basically, and I guess it was a lesson I didn't want to learn, but I needed to, really did. And I think the perfect timing is now. God is like, no more. It's just like everybody's not the same, you know? There are different kinds of people living different kinds of lives, and as you become an adult, you realize everybody kind of goes off into their group, and that actually had a lot to do with the movie Beef also. I was like one of the characters. This made me sad, but I think we've all been through this, but it was like sad to see it. It was sad to see it like on screen and somebody admitting that because we've all, if you're successful, you've been there. And some, in the case of the movie, in the show, the guy, this bad guy, one of the guys that had beef with this woman in the movie, he was just such an angry, he was a loser at life. And he knew his brother had all this potential. His brother was more handsome than him, like smart, like he had everything going for him. And he apparently, spoiler alert, he apparently, I won't say what it is. He did something to block his future and he actually succeeded. He delayed his future. And I don't know, the character doesn't show like him going off into the future, but he would have had a much different life if his brother did not sabotage him. And, that's the thing in life. It's like we're not all the same and just recognizing that. So look, rest, reflect, look for the lesson in the situation because um whatever challenge that we face, every person that we meet, every time we feel like we're going the wrong way, there's a lesson behind that. And it's a lesson that you need to overcome so that in the future, you won't even have to deal with that again. And that's one beautiful thing that when I reflect on life, there were certain issues that I, had when I was younger. We all do. There's like, just like, it's nothing like crazy, but like, when you're at school and you're a student and all these things, and then you realize, like, wow, like me overcoming that, me speaking up for myself, me standing up for myself, it solved the problem. Like, it solved the issue. And then sometimes not doing anything solves the issue. Um, it's like literally not, yeah, and that's something I need to remember, like not doing anything, just let it dissipate, let the dust settle, let things go, and all is well, all is good. Uh, tell people that you are, so I'm checking my notes. I have my little notebook here. Tell people that you are unavailable. And I think this is when you're going through any kind of major life transition, I think you have to be careful not to push away the right people, but you also want to make sure that you're not taking the emotions that are coming in that transition and putting them on all these new amazing people that you're meeting and you really and also you don't know what interactions you don't know what your new relationships are like yet. And so I feel like if you know you can't bring your best self to the table, if you can't bring your best self to the event, then you might want to stay home. Like seriously, you might want to like literally go have a spa day. You might want to take an Epsom salt bath. And that's something I think that is so incredibly mature. It is so incredibly mature to say, you know what, I'm not having a good day. And I need to like chill. I need to chill. I need to like not be around people right now because I think it's as you mature, you don't need to pour out all your problems on other people. I'm actually at the stage in my life where I'm like so not into the trauma dumping. I feel like I have a therapist and I dump with the therapist. So I have all these different emotional releasing techniques. You want to talk to your friends about certain things, but I feel like there's certain things that just are not really that important in life. And there's just like a hiccup and, you can't just be rattled by everything. And, you need to like just learn to deal with it on your own so that it doesn't become a bigger thing than it needs to be. It's kind of like, you know how when your friend is in a relationship or you're in a relationship, and especially if you're a woman and your boyfriend does something that upsets you, and you go and tell all your friends and your mom and dad, and now they all hate him and they can't unsee it, and it's been like 3 years and they still remember this. It's so important as you get older to realize that like you and your boyfriend were arguing about something so stupid that you don't even care about, and now your whole family hates him, and like you're having all this conflict. And like every time you do tell them something that actually is important, they're like, well, remember this and remember that. And it's just like it could have been avoided. And it didn't have to be like that. And it didn't have to create a situation where everybody hates, this person. So sometimes you got to learn to keep things to yourself. That's super important. And lastly, tend to yourself. Like I said, take an Epsom salt bath. Go to the movies. Do something that you love. Eat a cake. I think I might go get a strawberry shortcake because I think I was like, shoot, I was like a little man. I was in my feelings, but I'm good now. But I think I may still go eat a strawberry shortcake. Because even but literally tend to yourself. Tend to yourself, get a cookie. Don't stress eat too much though, because sometimes I'm guilty of that. I stress eat sometimes. But now, today, what I did, I was feeling a little kind of like in my feelings. And what I did was I went to the gym and I just started lifting weights. I was like, we're gonna get these arms toned. We're gonna get these arms toned. I am not gonna, get chunky because I'm upset. Not with these gains because I've been doing really well in the gym for the last year. So I was like, you know what? No, that's maybe I shouldn't get the strawberry shortcake. All right. Let the weights be enough. Okay. But yeah, that's all I have to say for today. Let the dust settle in the transitions. Feel the emotions. You must feel it because if you hold and your body remembers, your body, there's a book called Your Body Keeps the Score, and it's a really important book. And your body holds on to the emotions, that you repress and suppress. So do acknowledge your emotions. Rest, sleep, rest from social media, rest from social gatherings. If you need to, rest from working, rest from overextending yourself. And sometimes we just do too much as well. Reflect, look for the lesson in the situation because it's going to be something that benefits you in the future. Always look for the lesson. Um, Tell people that you are unavailable. Like I said, that social rest is important. If you know that you're not feeling good, you just sometimes need to like stay away from people. And I noticed that like I'm a very like magnetic and attractive person. And this is what other people tell me. Like literally last night somebody was texting me because I was like, why do you keep messaging me? Because I don't know you. But somebody had like Instagram. I'm like, if you want something specific from me, please just ask and let's like get on a Zoom or something. And the person said, oh no, you're just like very positive, beautiful, and attractive. Like I'm just like I would just want to get to like, talk to you. And but this happens to me like all the time, even in public. And but sometimes I have to say, like my one of my friends, my best friends, he always says, like, shut it off. Like the energy, like shut it down, shut it off, because I am like very like this is my personality. But then sometimes I have to just be like, I'm not in the zone, I'm not in the mood right now. So like it's okay to tell people that, and I think they'll understand because sometimes maybe they're not in the mood too. And they'll what I found is that when I'm very honest with people about how I feel, they then have the permission to be honest with me as well. Like I remember I was saying to someone recently, I said, look, I was at the end of the video and then I kept going, but I'm gonna keep going because I don't know, I got things to say. But and I'm still getting used to this. But I was saying to somebody the other day, I said like I've changed a lot over the years. And I started talking about how I changed, and then the person started revealing all these things about how they've changed, but they wouldn't have said that had I not said that. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we are looking for a model of how to be in this world because we're not always given the emotional intelligence and tools needed to communicate best, especially in that time and age when social media, we're all on social media a lot, especially consuming it and reading things. We're not communicating with each other face to face a lot anymore. And that's unfortunate. But we have to like say certain things and to just let people know our boundaries and not just boundaries, but just everything, like how we genuinely feel. We have to communicate it because um, you might think you're hurting somebody, but that might be exactly what they need to hear, and that might be something that they need to also then say because they just didn't know they needed to learn it. Tend to yourself, last and least. Like I said, there's a lot of ways in which you can tend to yourself. Don't stress eat, or if you do, eat a little bit. But don't do that. Don't do things that are self-destructive when you're tending to yourself. Tend to yourself and feel better the next day. Like my arms are sore right now, but I'm gonna feel so good. Like I'm gonna just keep this up all week. But you can't do every day like the same body part. So I guess I'll do my legs tomorrow, and I'm like, uh. And who knows, by the end of the year, anything that pisses me off, I'm just gonna go to the gym and lift weights. And well, hopefully I don't keep getting pissed off though. Hopefully that doesn't happen a lot. But every sometimes I don't. Like most of the time everything is good, but then you have the memory that comes back. So every time I think of the memory, I'm just gonna lift some weights. And next thing you know, I'm gonna be like super toned like J-Lo. And I'm gonna end on that note. Positive vibes. Tend to yourself. I'm gonna go tend to myself. And yeah, here's to letting the dust settle. Thanks.